various options, scenarios of the energy. I understand that you need a very brief one. I will keep it very brief. This is the future of energy in South Asia. As we all know, South Asia, comprises of 7 countries, actually 8 countries. 7 used to be initially the SAARC, and with the addition of Afghanistan, this is 8 countries. And about 25% population of the world live in this area, and we know that this area, apart from, you can see these figures that I'm not going to read out, this area also is inhabited, apart from Africa, some of the poorest people in the world. But at the same time, we know that some of the countries of this area is developing very fast, 6 to 8% GDP growth for India, Bangladesh, and some other countries. And as we also know, each percent of GDP growth requires about 1.5% of power demand. So this consistent GDP growth has created the power demand, which for reasons of not developing the infrastructure and resources has put us in a very difficult situation. The demand-supply gap is expanding. So these figures, you can read out this tells about this table tells about what will be the future up to 2020 in different countries. And what are the dependents? First the electricity, then oil products, gas and coal. And this deals with the installation capacity and in different countries. So go to the next one. Power generation and consumption is shown in this table. I don't need to read out, you can all know. And this is the primary energy demand of SAARC region up to 2020. Commercial energy consumption patterns. These tables are self-explanatory, I am not going into deep. Okay, you move. All these tables you can continue. I will go to the future. Okay, here, primary resource potential. You see, what is the primary resource potential? Coal, oil, natural gas and hydropower. So first 3 is the non-renewable. It is on the verge of where it's true that there is still some significant untapped energy, but it is finite, and all this renewable energy has some sort of environmental impact, be it coal, oil, or natural gas even, some impacts. And some of the South Asian countries are very vulnerable to greenhouse gas emission. So you can continue better. Since it is very late, I will be discussing the constraints and challenges, but I will be going to the future. So what are the options? We have seen South Asia itself has got limited in the sense of its growing demand, limited energy resources, but its adjacent areas, like my panel partners have talked about Russia, Central Asia, and we know that Middle East is here. Russia and Central Asia has got both oil and gas export capabilities. Middle East has got oil primarily, Qatar has got gas export possibilities. So these are the windows we have for energy trading. But the basic challenge should be developing the own resources, own gas, oil and coal in the best possible way to the full potential, keeping an eye to the renewables. South Asia, in most of the South Asian countries, sun is available almost throughout the year. So we should combine our efforts how we can utilize the solar energy. In Afghanistan, even in Afghanistan if you go, in the major cities, all the street lights have been converted to solar. And we are trying to use the solar power for irrigation. This can be done to most of the South Asian countries, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan. these countries should combine together their resources, and there should be joint venture development of the hydro resource. And once the power grid is interconnected, we know that Nepal-Bhutan power grid is connected with India, and Bangladesh interconnection will be ready by June or July. So once the grid is ready, I am not talking about the import only. These power grids can be dual circuit. This region, when this grid is made, and if the generation is increased, these countries can export and import. Whenever which country has surplus, other country can supply. But remember, integrated power grid has got its problem as well. If we look at the experience of North America power grid failure, it can be huge. So side by side with the grid, the local supply, depending wherever it is available, the local supply should be also ensured. In the event there is a grid failure, still local sources can keep on generating and supplying power. Another one is solar power. Why solar power is so much potential and so much in use in developed countries? I can tell you about my place in Melbourne. I have got a solar panel on the top of my house, and in Australia there is a system called FIEB. In some months, you won't believe, I usually use the electricity from the grid. In some months, when I use my solar power, I get a negative bill, which means from my solar power, I feed in more power to the grid than I use. So this kind of system can be introduced in entire South Asian countries to make the make the solar power more useful. And in South Asian countries, there should be wind mapping. Whether we can more usefully utilize the wind power, we should see. In most of the major South Asian countries, there is municipal waste, solid municipal waste. This solid municipal waste can be used to generate some electricity. And if we want to see the example, we could go to France or Germany, which are very actively using this. The next option in the morning, we have discussed about shale gas. The exact potential of the shale gas, there should be more studies to find out the exact potential of shale gas in this region, and it should be explored. And finally, LNG. In the priority, I will put LNG for the mid-term and the long term, because each of the South Asian countries, India is trying energy for a long time, and I don't think that it has been a very feasible option for India. And countries like Pakistan and Bangladesh will struggle very much to set up its first energy terminal, because it is very much capital intensive. On the other hand, import of energy price will be very high, and at the downstream, the energy price is very low. So LNG can be a long-term option, but in the priority wise, if you have to ask me what should I recommend for the future, short-term should be try to maximize utilization of domestic resource, try to gradually move out from non-renewable to renewable, and explore and develop jointly the solar, the wind, and if possible in some areas, if we have arid land, we can go for biofuel. And at the same time, we should keep our doors and windows open for regional energy trading. And finally, LNG for the mid and long term. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saleque. It's been a long day, long day.